Welcome all to the course of Data Communication and Networking, B7 semester Electronics and Communication Engineering. We are discussing a local area network in which a wireless lens has been discussed. In the last session, we have discussed VSS, AP, ESS, NAV, different type of frame structure. Fine. So in that section, we have mentioned that there are two problems are there. First is a hidden station problem and exposed station problem. So that problem we discuss over here in this session. So let's start our discussion with our hidden station problem. This figure shows an example of an hidden station problem. A station B has a transmission range shown by the left oval, and every station in this range is hereby the signal transmitted by our B station. A station C has an transmission range shown by the right oval over here. Every station located in this region can hear any signal transmitted by the station C. Our station C is outside the transmission range of B. Likewise, the station B is outside the transmission range of C. Station A, however, is in the area covered by the both A and C. B and C. Station B and C. So it can hear any signal transmitted by the B or C. Assume that the station B is sending a data to the station A. In middle of the transmission, a station C also has the data to send to the station A. However, the station C is not out of the B's range, and the transmission from the B to A or B to C can reach. Therefore, C thinks the medium is free. Station C sends the data to the A, which result in the collision at the A because this station is receiving the data from both B and C. In this case, we say that the station B and C are the hidden from each other with respect to A. Hidden stations can reduce the capacity of the network because the possibilities of a collision. The solution of this hidden station problem is the use of a handshake frames, just like our RTS and CTS, which we have discussed earlier in this chapter. So the solution of this is written over here, that it shows that then RTS message from B reaches to the A but not the C. However, because both B and C were in the range of A, the CTS message, which contains the duration of the data transmission from B to B and C or B to A, reaches the C. Fine. So the total time is CTS. Our station C knows that some hidden station is using the channel and reference from the transmitting until the duration is over. So we can say that the CTS frame in the CSMA handshake can be prevent collision from a hidden station. So it will one a solution for our this hidden station problem. Next is a exposed station problem. Now consider a situation that in the inverse of our previous one, just like a one exposed station problem. In this problem, a station refrains from using a channel when it is in fact available. This figure shows a station A is transmitting to the station B. The station C has some data to send to station D, which can be sent without interfering with the transmission of the A to B. However, the station C is exposed to transmission from the A. it hears what a is sending and thus reference from the sending. In other words, C is too conversative and wastes the capacity of the channel. The handshaking message, just like our RTS and CTS, cannot help in this case, despite what you might think. A station C hears the RTS from the A but does not hear the CTS from the B. So you can see over here, CTS will reach only A, not C. A station C, after the hearing RTS from our A, can wait for a time so that a CTS from B to A reaches, and it then sends the RTS to D, to show that it needs to communicate with D. Both the station B and A may hear this RTS, but station A is sending state, not in the receiving state. Our station B, however, responds with an CTS. The problem is here. If A has started sending its data, our station C cannot hear the CTS from the D because of a collision. It cannot send a data to the D. It remains exposed until A finishes the sending the data, as our figure shows. Fine. So collision will occur here. Okay, so these are the two main problem in our mechanism. So let's go for our physical layer. We discuss 6 specification as shown in over here. All implementation except an infrared operate in an industrial, scientific and medical band, just like a ISF band. You can tell that, or you can say that it is an ISM band, which defines 3 unlicensed band in the 3 ranges: 902 to 928 megahertz, 2400 to 4835 gigahertz, and 5725 to 5850 gigahertz, which is shown in this figure. Okay, so it is 902 to 928 megahertz over here, 2.4 gigahertz to 2.4835 gigahertz over here, 5.725 to 5.850 gigahertz. The first is 802.11 FHSS. So let's discuss this. An IEEE 802.11 FHSS uses the frequency hopping spread spectrum. So it is a short form of frequency hopping spread spectrum. FHSS uses 2.4 GHz ISM band. The band is divided into 79 sub-bands of 1 MHz and some guard bands. A pseudo-random number generator selects the hopping sequence. The modulation technique in this specification is either a 2-level FSK or a 4-level FSK with a 1 or 2 bits per baud, which results in the data rate of 1 to 2 Mbps as shown in this figure. Fine. So it is our IEEE 802.11 FHSS frequency hopping spread spectrum. Next is IEEE 802.11 DSSS. Over here, yes, DSSS. It uses a direct sequence spread spectrum. Direct sequence spread spectrum. It uses a 2.4 GHz ISM band. The modulation technique is the specification in the PSK at 1 MHz per second. The system allows 1 or 2 bits per word BPSK or QPSK, which results in the data rate of 1 or 2 Mbps, as you can see in this figure. Next is IEEE 802.11 infrared. IEEE 802.11 infrared uses the infrared light in the range of 800 to 950 nanometer. So, the modulation technique is called as an PPM. Full form is pulse position modulation. For 1 Mbps data rate and a 4-bit sequence is the first mapped into the 16-bit sequence, which is only a 1 bit is set to 1 and the rest is set to 0. So you can see in this figure, for 2 Mbps data rate, 2-bit sequence is the first mapped into the 4-bit sequence, in which only a 1 bit is set to 1 and the rest is set to 0. The mapped sequence are then covered or converted to the optical signal, and the presence of the light specifies 1. The absence of the light specifies 0. Next is IEEE 802.11.A OFDM. OFDM describes the orthogonal frequency division multiple access or multiplexing, called as an OFDM method, for the signal generation in a 5 GHz ISM band. OFDM is similar to the FDM as we have discussed in the previous chapters, with one major difference. All the subbands are used by one source at a given time. Sources contained within one another at the data link layer for the access. The band is divided into the 52 subbands within 48 subbands for sending and 48 groups of the bits at the time and 4 subbands for the control information. So total 52 is there. The scheme is similar to the ADSL as we have discussed. Dividing the band into the subbands diminishes the effect of interference. If the subbands are used randomly, security can also be increased. OFDM uses the PSK and QAM for a modulation. The common data rates are 18 Mbps PSK and 54 Mbps QAM. Next is IEEE 802.11b DSSS. So it is the high rate direct sequence spread spectrum, called as an HRDSSS. This method is for a signal generation in 2.4 GHz ISM band. HRDSSS is similar to the DSSS except for the encoding method, which is called as an complementary code keying, CCK over here, complementary code keying. CCK encodes 4 or 8 bits of an CCK symbol. To the backward compatible with an DSSS, HRDSSS defines the 4 data rates: 1, 2, 5.5 and 11 Mbps. The first two uses the same modulation technique as DSSS, and the 5.5 Mbps version uses the BPSK and transmit at 1.375 megabytes per second within 4-bit CCK encoding. The 11 Mbps version uses QPSK and transmits 1.375 Mbps with an 8-bit CCK encoding. This figure shows the modulation of a technique for this standard. Next is IEEE 802.11g. This new specification defines the forward error correction and OFDM using 2.4 GHz ISM band. The modulation technique achieves 22 Mbps and 54 Mbps data rates. It is a backward compatible with 802.11b, but modulation technique is OFDM. Okay, so it is the end of our session. Let's revise our session. In the start, we have discussed about the hidden station problem. Then we discuss some solution for the hidden section problem. After that, an exposed station problem we discuss. Then a particular collision we have seen with the help of the diagram. We have listed out the different IEEE standard used for our wireless LANs, just like 802.11 FHSS, DSSS, and 11.A, 11B, 11G. We have discussed the frequency band for the same: FHSS, DSSS, infrared, OFDM, 11A, 11B, DSSS, 11G at the last. So it is a question for you. Write down in your notebook and send back it to me as per the given direction. Okay students, thank you and see you in the next session.